Welcome, everybody. We got TrayDaCreator and Jared's Viewpoint
Yo,
here discussing some issues.
hmm
First things first, Trey, let everybody know who you are, how you got involved, and he does have his own channel for those of you who want to tune in to the Creators Corner. Go ahead, Trey.
Yep. First off, my name is Travion Martin. Let people know that. I do go by TrayDaCreator. I got the name TrayDaCreator because I make beats. As you can see, I have my NPC right here. Over here, I got my piano. So that's actually how I got the name TrayDaCreator because I do make beats. If anybody needs beats, hit me up. Because I, what I'm saying, do a lot of custom beats. From Detroit, used to stay in Florida, live in Atlanta. And you know what I'm saying? I recently decided that I wanted to, start talking about stuff like this because I wanted to enlighten our people and wake us up because a lot of us are asleep and do not know it. So
Yeah, we've discussed that a little bit. We discussed that.
yeah, we
There's been a
have.
lot. Yeah, actually, all right. Let me give some background for people who are unaware. The last video I did caused a bit of an uproar
Yes, it did.
by saying, or just the idea that we should work with people who are identified with different groups, whether it's ADOS, FBA, or B1. The idea that we should set that aside to work for the empowering of our community wasn't received well by some people.
Sad.
So yeah, yeah, definitely sad. Not unexpected though. So we kind of knew that was going to come. Uh, just give your thoughts on what you think as far as how we should move going forward as a collective.
I think that we should move forward as a collective, I think that the question that you asked is a solution in the question. I understand there's a lot of FBA, B1s, ADOS, Pan African. I forgot to even tell him about the Pan African thing. Everybody has their own different subgroups, or subsects of African liberation, quote unquote. But I think that moving forward as a collective is the only way to go, period. So that's just simply put what it is. I know a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, have a little differences or whatever between how we should go, but we as black people are all we have. You know what I'm saying? White people, Europe is a nation, though it has the British, the Portuguese, the Spaniards, the Germans, the Russians. They all work together. So why is we as black people have to be so divided? They work together to keep us down, but we're fighting amongst the crumbs of one another. So yeah, the answer is move together as a collective. Period.
I mean, and I brought up, the specific instance where someone who is an ADOS leader from Chicago had
Mm-hmm.
actually shared a story where he worked with someone who identified as foundational Black American, which, as for the people who do not know, let me just quickly mention, Tariq Nasheed is the person who began the whole foundational Black American uh, group, if you want to call it that. So
Mm-hmm.
he caught a lot of flack for just even mentioning that he worked with that person. And I kind of let you in on some of
Exactly.
this. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that particular situation?
And well, I think that for one, Tariq started the whole because I'm an avid listener of Tariq. I'm gonna point that out. I think that how can I say this? And I said this just a few moments ago. It's all about lineage at the end of the day. Foundation of Black American, Native Black American, ADOS, American Descendant of Slaves. If you descend from a slave plantation, it doesn't matter the vernacular or um quote unquote label that you want to label yourself as. Still descend from slaves no matter what. So the problem with one working with the other when you both descend from the same slave plantation, to sit here and say that we should not work with one another is ludicrous. Because if we're all for black liberation, then what's the issue here? Who cares if one is for pushing for promotion on politics? Who cares if one says we need to, start, do businesses? I think we should be doing both. We need to push for we need to practice politics as well as own businesses. That's just how it goes. I always point back to dominant society. They do it. So why do we have a problem doing that? Why do we have to have a one track mind for how to progress our group per se? So that's what I pretty much think about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things that looking back on it in hindsight, I could say that I should have probably titled it differently because I really thought we had come farther as a group than obviously we have. Like I thought that we could have an adult conversation without kind of, you know, getting to a point where we're calling each other names and like saying, well, I don't want nothing to do with you. And it's like we are back in high school and junior high school in the bodies of 40 and 50-year-old people who like just haven't moved mentally. And that's just bothering me. Like it's disconcerting, man. I don't know. It has been frustrating to see and witness and be a part of it, but it's bizarre, man.
It's
Bizarre.
very bizarre because, like me and you spoke about off camera, black people, and I know a lot of people gonna hate me saying this, have the mindset of a 3 to 4 year old or 5 year old, where to whoever sit here and sounds the best to us, we follow them. So I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. It's supposed to be, and this is the problem with leadership per se. Having a leader, people get more so enamored with the leader instead of what the principles or what the leader has to say per se. If you follow the principle or follow the code, then there's no problem. But people follow the leader. So that's pretty much, and we've been trained to be that way. You know what I'm saying? White society or the dominant society has said we need leaders. So over the years, we have become trained to think we need leaders instead of code. White people have a code. There is no leader. Yeah, they have a white president, but there's no quote unquote leadership. It's just a white supremacist code that controls everything. They control the food, the water, the resource. They control everything. They control the ports. That's a code of conduct that they have that keeps us subjugated. That's the reason why we can march all day for Breonna Taylor to get justice and nothing happens. Why? Because they have a code. Why? To listen to what they have to say. No, leadership is at this point, and we need to stop having leaders and just start having code of conduct with one another. And that's pretty much what I got to say about that right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the great Kwame Ture, formerly known as Stokely Carmichael, talked time and time again about the people. Like the focus of any movement has to be on the people. He was big on talking about organizing and mobilizing and as such and whatever. And just making sure the focus is on the people who need the help versus people getting in their feelings and saying, well, I don't want nothing to do with you. No, the person who's homeless doesn't care about Tariq's antics or Jason Black or Yvette Carnell or Antonio Moore. They don't care about that. They need help. We should be on that page, right? Like we should all be at a point where that's our main concern and that's it.
Like I've said before, man, we've been through this too many times for us to continue to be falling for the same old tricks again. And I wrote down some of these beefs that have been going on recently. So I wrote them down. I ain't gonna lie, I wrote down, and I didn't write them all down, but I wrote a lot of them down. So let's do this. Tariq versus Yvette and Tone. I know you're familiar with that one. Tariq versus Michi X. They've been banging on one another. Tariq versus Umar, probably the biggest one. That one was crazy. Tariq versus Tommy Soda. I don't know how to say the dude name. Sotomayor, I would say his name.
Yeah.
Yvette and Tone versus Dr. Boyce Watkins. They've been beefing one another. Yvette and Tone versus the Black Authority. Umar versus Boyce Watkins. Umar versus Sarah Seti. Umar versus Young Pharaoh. Dr. Boyce versus Michi X. Young Pharaoh versus Reza Islam. These are all recent beefs that have sprayed or come to the forefront in the past 5 years. I want to make sure that people know that. But let's go back. W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T had a beef back in the day. Why? Because they both had disagreements on how to move their people forward. That's the same problem with all these other beefs. It's nothing new under the sun. Marcus Garvey, when he came onto the picture, people thought they didn't want to go Marcus Garvey's route. I think Booker T had a problem with Marcus Garvey also because he came and pretty much was kind of still in the spotlight. See, it's a spotlight thing most of the time with some of these people because they get big and they gain the following. Listen, I'm saying it now. He ain't saying it. I'm saying it. So you could get upset at me. But nonetheless, you've seen this already. Let's talk about Martin and Malcolm. Both of these dudes were for the progression of black people. And Me personally, I am a very high critic of Martin Luther King because I didn't believe, well, I don't believe in integration, but they both soon came together and realized that, yo, we got to put all this other stuff to the side. We can't be talking about black liberation and me and you beefing. That sounds retarded. You understand what I'm saying? So, you understand? So that's I wanted to point that out, that we've been down this road before with black liberation, quote unquote. So.
Yeah, you're right. We have, and Malcolm and Martin, I think that's well publicized what happened between them. Like you said, though, especially towards the end, Malcolm was like, why are we airing this out in public? You know what I mean? Like, he was talking about going in the closet and talking about it, just making the reference that we should be handling this in private,
And
right? Like, we shouldn't be. And you also talked about, like, what's crazy is, what you did talk about us talking on white-owned platforms, airing each other out, right? Airing each other out over just, in some cases, silliness. Some things I do want to say, though, are justifiable. Like, I talked with you off air about people doxing people and harassing people. That stuff is never okay. I would never condone that or encourage anyone to do stuff like that. That's ridiculous. Because if you come for me and mine, you already know what's going to happen. And I suggest all of you guys do the same if anybody comes for you and yours. So no, nobody is going to encourage that or overlook that. But it doesn't mean that we are all of a sudden endorsing the idea of FBA, ADOS, and B1 holding hands. Nobody's doing that. Like, I think people are deliberately kind of just misinterpreting what the message was. So, like, I thought part of why we needed to discuss this in this video was kind of just to flesh some things out that maybe wasn't said. Maybe I could have did a better job of saying it, but having you on, I know you was going to be able to kind of, articulate exactly what I wanted to say with this. So we're eye to eye on this.
The idea is black liberation. I could have swore this is what Yvette has said she wants. Tone has said he wants. Tariq said he wants. Professor Black Truth said he wants. Umar said he wants. No. All of these figureheads, all of them say that they want black liberation. I want black liberation. Understand, black liberation, and again, black liberation is not just it's not a, what's the word I'm looking for? A my way is the only way type of thing. I think that we need to be, I think we need to be involved in everything. If you're not practicing politics, then you're not going to be able to get policies to put for yourself. If you don't have businesses, you're not going to be able to fund stuff in your community, or you know what I'm saying. You're not going to be a hub in your community, because if someone gets fired from the job, you're not going to be able to give them a job because you don't own and control in the industries. So we need to be able to control agriculture. So all of that falls under black liberation. Black liberation is essentially doing for self. Essentially, the Chinese understand it. The Mexican understands it. The Arab understands it. I told him the other day I went to a Mexican restaurant, and they was looking at me and my people a little funny. This is a real Mexican restaurant, not some little rinky. This is a real one. They was a little funny. They were speaking their little native language, and when we left, you understand, we had, me and my fiance and my mother-in-law, we had a discussion about it. And I said that, listen, they understand the idea and concept of do for self. You understand what I'm saying? It was nothing but Mexicans in there, remind you that. There was no other black people, it was just us. We were the only Negroes in there. And I'm pretty sure the only Negroes that have come there in a long time. But nonetheless, they have a camaraderie with one another, to where they understand that they are all they have in America. We, on the other hand, have been here the longest and have yet to unite. But we all want black liberation. So the question becomes then, do we want black liberation? Do we want to be right? So
that's a good point. That's a great freaking point. Yeah. I wanted you to explain actually intellectual gangbanging, because you was breaking that down a little bit for me the other day. So
intellectual gangbanging. I actually got this idea out the nation. Banging and religious gang banging essentially is when, you understand, the cross, the Star of David, and the crescent moon, because all of them are the Abrahamic traditions. When all of them start beefing one another, talk about I have the truth. No, I have the truth. When all of you come from the same thing. And I came with my own idea of intellectual gangbanging because Yvette is right. Tone is right. Tariq is right. Dr. Boyce Watkins is right. None of them are wrong, but they're all wrong when they sit here and beef with one another about who's right. No, all of you are right in what you feel Black people need. But what you go wrong at is, and I don't want to make this a video of attacking them, but you are wrong when you sit here and say, my is the only way. No. Does that mean that they per se agree with what the other person from the university have to say? No. But they also understand we have to work together to get a common goal here. We're the only people that have this tribalistic mindset to where it's my way or the highway. No. Everybody has a role to play in this. When we think about the human body as a whole, it has multiple different subsets. You have a brain, you have a heart, you have a head, arm, leg, you have veins. Everything in your body needs to work together in order to work, in order to function. If my veins stop working, I'm gonna die. If my brain stop working, then I'm gonna be brain dead. Everything is needed, a part of the human body, in order to work. So with that being said, we have to apply that same concept of mindset towards Black liberation. Everybody has great ideas. And it's okay if you didn't think of an idea first. Or if somebody and made it a better idea, it took it and ran with it, created a whole nother idea. There's nothing wrong with that. So we have to be willing to work together and get past a little petty nonsense, because that's what pretty much all of this stuff is. And I said this before, we have the mindset of a 3 to a 4-year-old, and that's intellectual gang banging in a nutshell. When and bang on one another and want to talk about Black liberation, but we bang on one another. He's wrong. He disrespected me. She disrespected me. She said this. He said that. That stuff I did when I was, me and my little brother did when we was younger. We grown doing that type of stuff. Like this, and then like you said, we do this on a white platform, Twitter. Now I own, like I said, told you I own Twitter stock, but Twitter was founded by a white dude, and it's dominantly white. But we want to sit here and talk about Black liberation, but we're literally intellectually gang banging on a white-owned platform for the whole world to see. Remind you. So that speaks for itself, essentially.
It's mind-boggling. And then now we've got people who are pushing Clubhouse and going on there and basically being the audio version of Twitter, and just, again, carrying over more nonsense and drama and gossip over to another platform. It's like, when are we going to learn, man?
Yeah. What type of people do we want to be? That's the question. Do we want to continue to keep talking about Black liberation? Or do we just want to actually do it? Because it's real. If you think about it, it's real easy to do. The problem is, do we want to? Well, not the problem is, the question is, do we really want to do it? There's 32 million of us. I think it's 32 million Black Americans in America. If each one of us give $5, you do the math. We can fund our own stuff, but are we really ready to have that conversation? No, but because everybody wants to be right. That's my own personal idea, but that's what I thought of. I was like, well, shit. Killer Mike has a bank. Why not give money to his bank? He a Black dude. Killer Mike is a thorough brother. Give every Black person, give him $5, and let's work this shit out ourselves. Fuck white people and what they got to give us or what they got to offer. Let's just do it ourselves. Get back to what people in Black Wall Street thought of, or in Rosewood. Get back to that mindset. But the question is, do we really want to do that? Because at that point, it's solely on us for all liberation. But that's me talking. That's not him talking. That's me talking. Because I know people gonna get mad at my boy. You get mad at me because I'm with the smoke. You get mad at me all you want. But I'm just simply saying, like, do we really want this thing that we so-called want? Do we really want it? Seriously.
I think that you have to, like, first of all, do we want it? That's a good question. But also, you have to look at people not being able to even, like, actually watch a video, a 10-minute video. People got upset at the title.
Yeah.
Let alone the content. We're not even talking about what I said in it. People got upset at the title. People are getting blocked over the title. Yeah. So how can we be ready for liberation? How can we be ready to do another Black Wall Street and do business with each other when we can't even have conversations in an adult fashion? How does that work? We can't even have civil discourse.
It's very, very simple how it, pretty much works. Me and you pretty much discussed most of the stuff off, recording or whatever off camera. But what it comes down to is we're gonna have to again be willing to unlearn and relearn some things. We have become white supremacists in our own rights through osmosis of white society. Essentially, what I mean by that is we have, how can I say this? We have most of us come from church backgrounds. I come from a church background. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the church. So coming from a church background, the church or a preacher per se has always been the quote unquote, religious figurehead or the leader for the community. So some of us have become so enamored with a church political religious figure to when we leave the church and transition out, we look for another form of leadership. You know what I'm saying? Quote unquote, a Tariq or Yvette or a Tone. We're looking for that quote unquote, who's gonna give us our daily bread, quote unquote. Because when you think about it, a lot of these cats go broadcast 3 times a week. I remember going to church 3 times a week. So come on, so synonymously, I pick up on stuff like that, but most people don't pick up on stuff like that because they haven't fully thought outside the box yet. We have to be willing to think outside the box on a lot of this stuff. But I think I might have got off topic. I went somewhere else. What was that question again?
Nah, I mean it's all related though, so don't worry about it. It's crazy because there are some valid issues though. Like I do have to say that because I don't want people thinking that I'm just saying, all right, let's blend the lines and then let's all just come together and sing kumbaya and whatever. Like nobody is saying that. There are some things that I've heard. So I do want to say this. I've heard with my own ears some people going and crossing the line in terms of, all right, physical harm or implying that it's okay to go at people. And that I disagree with. Totally, I disagree with it. You mentioned you're a Tariq listener. So this is good to get your perspective. You listen to the Black Authority also, right? Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, you listen to them also, right?
I do.
So, and they make some good points. They do make some good points, though.
More because y'all listen to them. Yeah, they do. I listen to them, but I think I'm more drawn to them because they everybody. Let me put it to this way. Everybody is different. So how can I say this and it make a lot of sense? Some people like to be entertained. Some people like to just get, you know what I'm saying, straight cut information. I listen to Tariq. I ain't gonna lie, the dude's entertaining. Let's just be real. He's an entertainer. He's very entertaining. He's, you know what I'm saying, he says a lot of funny shit. You know what I'm saying? It's funny at times, but he also brings information. I need that sometimes. I like Dr. Yosef Ben Yakin, Dr. John Henry Clark. These are very, so I kind of need that. You understand what I'm saying? Because I may get bored listening to someone else. So, and this goes to even a broader statement. The leader for one is not the leader for everybody. And I know I said we don't need leadership per se, but a leader for me or a figurehead for me, it may not be the figurehead for you. And that's okay. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not a religious person by any means or whatever the case is, but the Bible says, Jesus said, my sheep know my voice, and the stranger they will not follow. Now, I don't mean to bring it up in the religious context, but people are drawn to certain things per se. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what we go wrong at is when these quote unquote figureheads start gang banging. I would hate to come to the day when me and you start gang banging on one another, talking about don't you go to Jared channel no more, and you say don't come to Creator Scorn. I hate that. Like, well, we're talking about Black liberation, and usually be over stuff that's not even relevant or important for that matter. It's a little misunderstanding, something that could be chopped up about, and sometimes it could just simply be a statement of, "Yo, I was wrong, bro. My bad." and let's be done with it. But no, it's more beneficial to keep everybody divided. But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It really, really is.
Yeah, I mean, I know you probably have people who support your channel from all three groups, right? Like I have people on my channel who say
Yeah,
they listen to Tariq, listen to Jason Black, listen to Yvette. It's all three. Like I don't ever tell someone don't come here. You're
there's
not
nothing
welcome
wrong with
just
that.
because. Yeah, yeah. Come on, man.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. Like, come on, man. We watch. That's white people watch CNN. White people got CNN, NSBC, ABC. They got all these different channels. Do you think they sitting here? I mean, Trump kind of got them going a little crazy now, but beforehand, do you really think these people was caring about who they got their news from? No, they just got news. I mean, you got the Wall Street Journal, you got New York Times, you got the Guardian. Do you come on, man? Like, what do we like? This goes to what are we doing? What do we really want as a people to where we're arguing over stupid shit that what we say we want the same thing. So there's nothing wrong with us listening to. I listen to Yvette sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, and that's okay. Like I can listen to Tone sometimes. I remember when Tone and first came out with the what did Tone come out with a while back? I think it was last year. He came out with something as far as reparations. I forgot what it was, and I watched it, and I thought it was informative, and that's okay. And then after that, I think I probably went and listen to Jason Black or Tariq. That's okay. We can do that. We can dabble and get information from wherever we need, and we don't need to bang on one another because of some other shit. Like, no.
Yeah. All right. Let's shift gears here because I'm already sure the damage has been done anyway, right? I'm sure.
Damage being done. People need to listen. How old are you? Because I didn't ask this before. How old are you?
Oh, you trying to get me in trouble now? Uh-oh.
How old
Uh-oh.
are you? Seriously, how old are you?
38, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
You dead serious? Bro, you don't look
As cancer,
38.
fam. As cancer. Yeah, I know. I know. It's the genes. You know how we age, bro. You know how we
Bro,
age. 15 from years from now, you're gonna look like you 20. Like that's just how we age, dude.
I know that you, bro. That's okay. But nonetheless, okay, I'm 20, I'm 24. Let's just get that out there. I'm 24 years old, and most of these, and this is no, you pretty much already discussed it, so you know they no disrespect to you. But most of these niggas just doing this intellectual game banging per se, or talking trash about one another, are 40 and up.
I know.
So what we
I
doing here?
know.
I'm 24, and I'm like, we need to cut that out. And these 45, maybe. I know Tariq is pushing 50. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And what are we doing? Like, I'm like I said, I'm down. We need to stop this quote unquote my way is the only way. Excuse me, type of mindset, and it's crazy that we and I know you want to move on, but I think it's some stuff I need to say right here for people
Go
that
ahead.
need to hear what I have to say about this. People need to we need to sit here and understand that we as Black people, the more information it seems that we have gained, the more and more we have seen to have become separate. And the information that has been given to us by our ancestors, Dr. Ben, Kwame Ture, W.E.B. Du Bois, George G. James, all of these different people, Ivan Van Sertima, all the information they got for us to get or gave to us was not meant to divide us. It was meant to bring us together. And I understand the information of we are the world has somewhat been very, very prevalent because it's the truth. When we look at the Khoisan people of Southeast Africa, who are the oldest people on the planet, when we look at the Javadians, we look at the Negrito people, when we look at the Olmec tribe of South America, we are everywhere. But the question becomes, and this is my own personal criticism of our people, when we look and see that we are everywhere, I think that subconsciously we have created this quote unquote superiority complex to where we are the world, so to hell with everything else. And I asked him this question: what has ever been the need for Black people to unite? Nobody's really ever asked. I've only seen one person ask that question. It was Kara's one. When have Black people ever needed to unite? We are the world, essentially. And the reason why, and that goes to the heart of this video. again, the more information we get, the more divided we become. Black liberation is a easy thing, but putting together petty differences is a hard thing. We can look at Africa and see that. You have one tribe that's 20 miles from another tribe, and they speak two different languages now, and they can't get along for nothing. Look at us here in America. It's the same problem. Look at the Crips and the Bloods. Both were community institutions, and me and you both know about COINTELPRO, J. Edgar Hoover. Now look at him now. Is this what we gonna be? When are we gonna graduate from this mindset of my way or the highway? When are we gonna do that? Because we know that we are the world. We know that we are the foundation of civilization. But when are we gonna act like it? When are we gonna sit here and take the mantle from white people? And I don't even mean to say take the mantle, but you understand what I'm saying? Take responsibility as what we are. We are the grandfathers of civilization. We are. We don't act like it. We act like 3-year-olds. You understand what I'm saying? Twerking and shit, partying. We need to get back to business. You know what I'm saying? Handling our own.
Like, you're right, but when you talk about twerking and all that, yeah, you hit a spot with that because oh my gosh, man.
Okay, listen, that's fine. We, what are we gonna do? Let's just say, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty sure, like I said, I don't know if you know this, but white people are dying off.
Yeah.
Let's just hypothetically say that white people were to die tomorrow. What are we gonna do?
Seriously, you seriously asking me that?
No, I'm asking you per se. I'm asking people in the general who get this far in the video per se. And some people may click off 5 minutes. But what are we gonna do tomorrow if white people are here? Because they control the ports with stuff that gets imported. They control the mining. They control the oil industry. They pretty much control fabrics and resources. They control agriculture. They control like the car manufacturers. They control that. They control the metal industry. They control the electric grid. Who's gonna work on the electric grid? What's gonna happen with that? The water. Who's gonna be the people that's gonna keep our water clean? Who's gonna keep it on? The only thing that we have somewhat accomplished is being entertainers.
All right, a couple of things I want to touch on there. What are we gonna do? We do have Black professionals in different sectors, right? Like we do have some. Would we be able to run things all by ourselves? I don't know. Honestly, I'm not afraid to say I don't have enough data on that. I don't know. Okay, possibly. But one thing you mentioned.
That's why I said it's a problem.
I want to just touch on one thing you said. You said about some people are going to click off like 5 minutes into this video. The question is, why is that the case? If me and you, if we titled this video ADOS and FBA at each other's throats, boom, 100 views, right? 500 views, 2,000 views. If we talk about drama and gossip, Michi is going at Tariq, or Tariq is going at Yvette, or Yvette and Tariq get together. Now all of our people are all interested in watching the goddamn video instead of just us trying to talk about how we're going to move things forward.
Well, the issue is because, I'm going to say the issue is, if the truth, how can I say this? If the truth was lucrative or better, how can I say this without sounding crazy? If there was a positive response to speaking the truth, then more people would do it. Basically, this is what what the answer to that question. There's more benefit in the fantasy or in a lie than Black electricians here and there. Yeah, we got, Black plumbers here and there. We got financial PhDs here and there. But on a grand scale, who really runs this? But every time I turn around, we got another rapper, another basketball player. We don't have. Come on, man. Like, let's be like. That's why I said that. If white people was to leave, who gonna really run this shit? Of course, we're gonna figure it out, but we got to get out of the mindset of we're gonna figure it out. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. It's basically what I'm saying. And we have to have that mindset. We have the mindset of we're gonna figure it out. No, We need to be in the mindset now of what we need to do. And that's why I pretty much said what I said, because Black people need to wake up. And I understand people gonna get mad. It's okay. Once you calm down, you understand what I'm saying, and get out of your own thinking and listen. That's the problem. People listen at you, don't listen to you. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. If you listen to what I'm saying, it's the truth. I'm not saying he's in his last video, he didn't say anything that was crazy or off kiltered. He just said, listen, we can work with one another, and that's okay. And disagree. I got into a conversation with a Hebrew Israelite the other day on Instagram. It's an old buddy of mine. And I told him in the middle of the conversation, and he knows this. I said, bro, I don't give a damn what your religion is. We just debating for fun. If a white person walk up to you trying to fight you or jump you, I'm gonna jump in. We brothers. We gotta have that for one another. Yeah, we can disagree here and there, but we gotta come together on all we got. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we all we got out here, man. We gotta come together. We have to. We have to. If we want liberation, I'll say that much. We have to. If we don't want liberation, then we keep bickering and arguing and doing whatever. But if we want liberation, we gotta come together.
I gotta tell you though, I'm not optimistic, man. Based on what I've seen these last couple of days, I'm not optimistic at all. That's just me being honest. I wish the best for us, but I don't know, bro.
I'm with you. I'm always gonna be optimistic, and I have to be optimistic because I believe in my people. Yeah, you're a little bit older than me, so I kind of got a little more time for Black people to let me down. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna be optimistic. I have to be. You understand what I'm saying? Because I think that we as a people have so much. We've tapped a lot of potential. Yeah, we built the pyramids. Yeah, we built the Great Wall. Yeah, we built the pyramids in Chichen Itza in Mexico. Reach our full potential as a people. And I think like I said, I'm somebody who studies history. So when I look back at what we did then, oh man, what we can do now is crazy. We can do so much. So I'm always gonna be a little optimistic about Black liberation because I think that we can do it. I think the simple fact that me and you even having this conversation is just in it because for a while I ain't gonna lie, I thought I kind of was one of the few only ones. I ain't gonna lie, with a platform at least, I thought I was probably the only one that really was on that type of wavelength. But me meeting you is kind of even showing me even more that yes, some of us understand where we need to go because that's essentially what it is. We don't need to agree on everything, but if we have a code of conduct, and I didn't say this yet, but if we understand the mindset of being sovereign, and being sovereign basically means not a citizen of the United States, being sovereign, being one that is self-governed. If we understand that individually and implement that into our homes and into our families, oh man, we can flip this overnight. It's simple. We've been, like I said, we've been too American, somewhat arrogant in the African liberation thing or Black liberation thing. It's a lot of different stuff, and like I said, I know I said some people may not be able to get past 5 minutes, but some will. Some will be able to get past the 5-minute mark. And you know what I'm saying? If people get mad at my boy Jared, if people get mad at me, it's okay. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes surgery is painful. You understand what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Sometimes surgery hurts, but you know it's the truth. If we want, like I said, if we want liberation, then we'll consider what me and this brother have had to say so far in this video, because we haven't said anything. We haven't said. I know you. I know I've been speaking more than you, but I know you haven't said anything disrespectful towards Yvette, Tone, and Tariq, and I'm pretty sure you would agree. I haven't said anything disrespectful towards them. We've just been honest about the state of our people, essentially.
It doesn't matter though, because when people are
take it how you wanna
brainwashed,
take it.
exactly. It doesn't matter what we say. People have preconceived notions. They're gonna bring it all in, and they're gonna just ascribe it to us regardless. So, like, we can say what I said with what happened with the person in Chicago in terms of that specific example. That goes to this video also. Like, if I saw you have FBA or B1 and said, "All right, I'm not talking to you now. I'm done with you." This video doesn't happen. The conversation doesn't happen. Whatever goes forward, future collaborations, it's not going to happen. It can't happen. you're automatically preventing it just from having that mindset. So that's kind of what, the whole purpose of the video I did before and this video was kind of get people to shift how they're thinking, man, because we have to grow up. You said graduate. That was a damn good word, bro. That was a good word. We do have to graduate. Feel free to chime in on that. But I didn't ask you a question, but yeah, like we've got to graduate. We have to start seeing ourselves as the answer versus looking to someone else for, whatever it is, guidance. We have to look within. So, and hold on, guys. So let me get Trey back in here. But while I work on getting Trey back, let me say this. Trey was nice enough to come on, and as someone who watches all three different groups, I thought that his view and his perspective was going to be beneficial to the conversation, and Trey is back. But I really wanted to have him on because, as he said, 24 years old, and he's got more wisdom than some of you guys out here in your 50s and 40s and just acting a fool. So sometimes it's good. Forget about my age, you know what I'm saying? And our age collectively, ADOS and all of that. I don't know what the average age is in the group, but sometimes we have to look to other people. It doesn't matter if you're 15 or 16. If you got sense, I'm going to listen to you. I don't give a damn where it's coming from.
Absolutely, man. And it's stuff I've left out so far in this video, but I really want to drive the point home of Black liberation. It's something that we need. In my personal opinion, we need a think tank. And it doesn't matter who does it, honestly, but we need a think tank. White people have I always say, well, white people have this stuff all the time, but we need a think tank because we need to somewhat weed out some of these differences of ideologies. We need to, because the way we going right now is just not the way. But what me and you were doing, and I was going to say this actually before my feed went on or whatever, this video may not be meant for the day. It may not be meant for next week. A year from now, somebody could finally pick up on what we saying, come back and watch us and be like, you know what them two brothers said is absolutely right. They may not, people might not like it now, but a year from now, or maybe even a couple months from now, somebody would be like, yo, them brothers telling the truth. You understand what I'm saying? And this video right here could be something that sparks something even greater, because even though some people may hate what we got to say, I'm sure it's people that's gonna hear what we got to say and be like, yo, them brothers telling the truth. And Yvette, Tariq may hate us for saying what we got to say, but it is what it is. I ain't come here to shit on nobody. I came here to speak the truth, nothing but the truth, and let the truth be said for what it is. You understand what I'm saying? That's my whole point of why I got into this, because I wanted to. This is for me personally. I saw the state of my people. I saw where we were, and I'm like, listen, it's certain things that we need to do, and certain things that we just have not done as a people in general. We're lost. Even some of us that are so-called conscious are lost. Still have, like I said, have all the information in the world, but just still lost. So yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I made sure to say a lot in this video, because I know people beat you up the last video. They could beat me up this time. I want them to. I want people to beat me up. It's fine, because what I'm saying ain't a lie, and what you saying ain't a lie. People gotta take it for what it is, whether you want to hear it or not. It is what it is. They'll be all right. We're dealing with some grown people here. You know what I'm saying? They could take it. It could take a little bit of, sometimes you need a little whooping. You understand? Sometimes you need a little pat you need a little ass whooping. I don't know. I'm not cussing a lot, but sometimes you need a little. You need a little belt to your butt a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It'll make you do better.
But clarity is good, though. Clarity is always good. So I think when you do take a stand and say, you know what, I knew within the ADOS movement, I got the most heat. I got the most pushback from ADOS. No FBA person, no B1 person came at me hard at all yet. It could happen, but it hasn't happened yet. So that was interesting.
Yeah. I think it's more so because, I think you're following us more so in the ADOS crowd. I may not be I don't know how much true that is. It could be 50-50, it could be 80-20. I'm not 100% sure. But a lot of people, it's many people, like I said, as many people may give you pushback per se. A lot of people do have similar mindsets of me and you. It's just the truth. Some people understand. So that's why some people watch B1, FBA, and ADOS. They watch all three because some of us understand that there's information in everything. Everything has a truth in it, essentially. You understand what I'm saying? From a lie, we learn what the truth is. Those of us that can differentiate between the two. You understand what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what that pretty much goes to as far as that goes. And I don't think I said this yet, but for African Americans specifically, our liberation is going to come from when we put our differences aside and come together. Once African Americans come together, Africans in the United States will unite. Once, and this goes to also across the diaspora, because I know a lot of people may watch this and they may be with the Pan Africanist crowd or whatever. ADOS, FBA, B1 is going to handle their own. African Americans is going to handle our own. What I would tell anyone who is of the Pan Africanist diaspora to do, if you're from the Caribbean, you get your people together. If you from Africa or Nigeria or Ghana or Ethiopia, you get your people together. If you from Britain or London or the UK, you get your black people together. You have your own think tanks, and you come together and because we gotta weed out our coons here. We gotta weed out our issues here, and the same has to go for everybody else. You weed out what you know what I'm saying. Get your little petty difference to the side and come together because I know one of the main reasons why I picked up on the ADOS and B1 and Foundation Black American thing because I do find it very, very prevalent that African Americans sit here and get all these policies for all these different immigrant groups, but nobody ever give a shit about us. So I also want to point that out there also that we fight for a lot of other people, but they don't do the same thing for us. And some of them over there, not all of them are like that over there, because the ones that actually quote unquote fight for their liberation are called terrorists. But people don't want to have that type of conversation right there.
Nah.
They don't want to have that conversation. They're called terrorists over there. But that goes to the whole media propaganda thing about the United States. They're the united enemy of African Americans. They're the united enemy of black people. They're the united enemy of African Americans. They're the united enemy of everybody else.
Yep. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me make sure we got Trey. Hold up, Trey. All right, so hold on. I'm gonna bring Trey back in. Y'all stick with us, man. We have a little bit of issues here and there. Y'all stick with us, but we still chopping it up. Hold on. All right, so what Trey was touching on as far as propaganda and all of that, I think that stuff I've touched on in my video. Let me make sure I'm gonna work to restore Trey back into the broadcast, but what he's talking about is a good point in terms of what you hear. And I think this is something that Malcolm and Kwame talked about as well, and others. Anyone who's had a prominent voice within this country has spoken on how people who are overseas, who, whenever you attempt to go against the powers that be, usually, and as Malcolm noted about the media and the power that they have to make someone look as though they're an enemy when they may actually be an ally. How those people are portrayed, that's in the hands of the media, and Trey is back, so I'll let him continue. Go ahead, Trey.
Oh, what I basically was just saying was, and I think we finally found out who's been the issue as far as the thing goes. Yeah, man, I was just basically just saying, man, that each individual, because I am of the Pan Africanist mindset. I am. I can't sit here and say fuck everybody, but I would say I can't. You know what I'm saying? I have African, but we all descend from Africa, so I can't necessarily be like F everybody across the diaspora. But I would say that each individual group needs to handle their own, essentially. And that's what I was saying. Why I started to follow the old ADOS FBA thing was because I said ever since the 64, when the Civil Rights Bill got passed, the only reason why it got passed was because Black people pretty much united and said we want to allow these other immigrant groups to come. Well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why was because we wanted all these other Caribbean and etc. groups to come over here, to help us with our numbers. But sadly, some of the ones that came over here don't have the same unified mindset as us. But that's part of the reason why I started to actually, mess with it a little bit, because I'm like, you know what? There's a truth to that. A lot of Caribbean groups come over here, and Africans, they always say that I'm not like the rest of these niggas, or I'm not a kata. They call us that type of shit. But you understand what I'm saying? But that's why I say they have to handle their own. And I also said that the people that are fighting for that liberation are labeled as terrorists. They are, but that's the white media using their propaganda machine to tell us that they're terrorists, but they're over there fighting for their liberation, and they don't mind giving I mean, I'm not promoting this, but they don't mind giving a gun to a child and say, fight for your country.
Yeah, that's I won't touch on that too much, but you're spot on, man. You are spot on with that. YouTube may already be messing with our video. That might be why you cutting out that, but whatever. I ain't gonna get on that either. That's a whole nother.
It's fine. It's fine. I've said enough already.
But no, you made some good points though. I know that a lot of people aren't going to stick around, but what we have to do, personally, me, I don't even think I've talked to you about this. We've talked a couple of times off air, but what I wanted to bring back was, I'm not even sure if you're familiar with the roundtable discussions that so-called Black leaders had, where like Kwame Ture was part of it, and you had different individuals. It could be like mayors. I think Percy Sutton from Manhattan was in on that. Angela Davis. There's a lot of people who took part in that. That's kind of what I wanted to bring back, like us getting back to being intelligent, like actually making that to be the thing to be and paying attention to, versus Cardi B interviewing Joe Biden or interviewing Bernie Sanders. Like, we don't need that. We don't need Charlemagne holding serious interviews. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, I love Charlemagne, but he is not going to be able to do or say what it's only so much he can do. And that's no disrespect. That's no disrespect to Charlemagne, because I mess with Charlemagne. He's a good dude, but it's only so much you can do when you're in that system. In general, that's essentially what we need. We need a think tank and a convention. You know what I'm saying? That's just simple. What we need. We need one of those, because if we have one of those, we can weed this kind of stuff out, and we can. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
we actually do though. I don't know if you know that, but Claude Anderson has the Harvest Institute, which is a think tank. I don't know if he's still running it, because I know his health was a little questionable, so I don't know how it's working. I don't know what state it's in, but we do have a think tank.
I didn't even know that. So yeah.
Like
I told you before, as much stuff as I know, there's a lot of stuff I don't know.
Yeah, but see that, you know what? I learned that actually from watching Boyce Watkins, who I have my issues with Boyce. I'm not, I got some issues with Boyce too, but Boyce has on Claude. Tariq has also had on Claude Anderson, if I'm not mistaken. So sometimes you get access to people through certain personalities, and then you learn things. And I didn't know about the Harvest Institute, but he does have it. I'd love to reach out to Claude Anderson, see if I can get him to come through and talk to, but we'll see.
I think Claude Anderson most definitely would be. I think if you had Claude Anderson on, I'm gonna say this much, you're probably gonna get a lot of hate, but a lot of love. You're gonna get a lot of hate and a lot of love, because I don't know this to be true or not, but I know Yvette has some issues with Claude. I don't know if that's true or not.
All right. Yeah.
She's had somewhat of an issue with him. But get them on if you can. Yes, I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Let me say this though, from Yvette. Let me say this from Yvette's perspective, because I saw the video she did where she was kind of breaking down Claude Anderson. She was talking about some of his failed ventures. I think if you say things a certain way, personally, I didn't have an issue with the stuff she talked about. If it's fact, it's fact. If Claude Anderson failed at his fishing business or whatever he was doing, if he failed at something else, okay, he failed. There's a difference between saying truth and attacking someone's integrity. I don't think she ever attacked him as such. I know it was portrayed that way, but I never saw that. Like, I saw her saying he was talking about group economics. We can't necessarily do what he was talking about now with powernomics back then. She was saying certain times timing is important with when you're trying to actually implement certain strategies. So would group economics work now when we're basically a wealthless people? That's a fair question. I don't claim to know everything, but I think that some of what she said was valid. A lot of what she said I actually felt was valid, but I still think I hold him in high esteem. I hold Claude Anderson up there because he was saying stuff when nobody else was saying it. It wasn't popular to be like, look, black people, get your act together. And that's what he was telling us. So he was on it before anybody was on it. Feel free to chime in on Claude Anderson and what you think about him. I ain't trying to get you in trouble though, but
well, oh no, you good. And I'm one person that thinks that group economics can work, still will work, but I think that we need. But that's why I said we need to be doing both. We don't need to just do one and be like, well, damn the other. We need to do both because group economics works because the idea of group economics, from my understanding, is black people need to exchange dollar hand to hand with one another, opposed to just giving it to other people per se. And I think that's the reason why I'm saying that group economics works, because we need to have that mindset. We have I work at, I mean, we go to a white grocery store, we go to an Arab gas station, we go. Most of our women go to Chinese or Asian beauty salons. But that's what I mean when I say I think the group economics works. But we need to be doing everything. We don't need to just do one and not do the other. They're both interchangeable. And I had this conversation with somebody on Twitter once a while back, and I was like, listen, they're both interchangeable. It's not that group economics does not work. It's the problem is that we need to be doing both. We need to control policies and control industries, because once you do both, you can do a lot of stuff with that. Like, it's so much stuff we can do if we control our own policies and our own businesses. There's so much stuff we can do.
But you talked about, yeah, group economics can work, but the problem was, if I'm not mistaken, with his fish business that he had, I forgot where he had it. Was it Cleveland? He had it somewhere, and it failed ultimately because when you're trying to get the fish, that you talked about controlling the ports and things, right? So if you're locked out of that, the same way we're locked out of the Korean hair care industry, if you're locked out, how can you get in if you can't get the supplies you need to run the business? So that was kind of Yvette's point. Like, you can open up stores, but how are you going to compete with Amazon? Or Amazon is probably a poor example in this case, but there are other factors here versus just we're going to shop black on this, black on that. So it's a nuanced conversation though, but you know, that's what Yvette was saying. It's tough when you're locked out in terms of black people.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's why I said we need to be doing both, because again, we can't just have a one mindset thing about everything. We got to be multi-dimensional. We got to have our hands in everything. Like, we need to have, a plan A, plan B, plan C. Problem with us, we just have a plan A and be like, well, this is the only way we're going to do it. No, we need every single thing in general. I think another reason why group economics has not worked is because, sadly, to what we said in this video, black people aren't united. So that's a huge reason why group economics can't work. Because you got black people that we got to include white people and everything. What? Oh, I thought it was black liberal. So that's another reason why group economics.
Yeah, but all right. So that was funny. Interestingly enough, right? When you look at, I hate to get on this because I think sometimes we spend too much time talking about entertainers in general, but basketball players, football players, all of these guys with millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
They continue with what we're talking about, and they're not about opening their own, right? Too often it's just they're exacerbating the problem we're already experiencing. So that's a problem. That's part of this. I know people don't want to talk about it, but it's part of it. Absolutely. So please jump in on entertainers.
Come on, man. But oh, oh, I'll critique one of my favorite entertainers. And I only critique people that I like. If I don't like you, I'm not gonna critique you. I'll critique my man Jay-Z Hove. Now, Hove, I saw
Oh boy, hold on, we lost him. I think
about
yeah, we
doing
got him back. We
this.
got him back. Hold on, y'all. We got him back.
Jay, yeah, we should be back. Jay-Z is in conversation about selling title. Now, I'm a big Jay-Z fan, so like I said, I'm only gonna touch on stuff I like. Jay-Z selling title to me, I don't think he's gonna do it. But if he did, it would be the worst thing he could possibly do. Why is that? Because title is I have title. I only got title because of Jay-Z. But Jay-Z is the only major black distribution service.
Wait, hold up.
So
wait. Say what you said again about the distribution part with Jay-Z.
Mhm.
Say what you said about the
Oh
distribution
no, I
part of
said
Jay-Z,
that.
because that kind of cut up.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I said that Jay-Z a title is, I think it's the third largest streaming service on the market. I think that it is. I know Apple
Okay.
Music and Spotify are pretty much the top dogs, but then there's Amazon Music, there's Napster, that even if that's still around, but Tidal I think is number 3, and that's the only major black streaming service around on the market. So by Jay-Z selling that, now we're out of that industry. And I think he's gonna sell it for like $2 billion or something like that, which to me ain't nothing. But nonetheless, I'm just criticizing Jay-Z because he's my dude and I like him. But nonetheless, and this is just on a broader scheme as far as it goes with celebrities and those that have access to wealth per se. The people that are quote unquote have the resources don't do with the resources. Speaking, this whole thing about black people not having money or black liberation could be solved if most of these celebrities will reach into their pockets and actually do what they're supposed to do. Realistically speaking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being honest, and that goes to my man Jay. I'm not gonna shoot at nobody. I'm gonna shoot at the person I like, Jay-Z. I'm gonna critique the dude I like, Jay-Z. And Jay-Z, and sadly, Jay-Z understands this too. Jay-Z has said that because somebody asked him, why wouldn't he go back? I think it was renovate or do something with Marcy.
Mm-hmm.
About that, because if people aren't willing to change their mindsets, it doesn't matter how much money you give them or what you do for them. Negroes will always figure out a way to screw something off or do something crazy with it. That's what he said, which he didn't lie, but it's kind of like, dang, Jay, you can still do more, but you know what I'm saying? But that goes to the whole celebrity thing. More celebrities can do a lot of stuff, but they just don't.
All right, so I'm gonna work on getting Trey back, but I here's what I'll say about Jay-Z. Here's what I'll say. And the people who listen to my channel, I think y'all already know how I feel about Jay-Z. I haven't pulled any punches when it comes to Jay. All right, Trey is back. As far as Jay-Z, to me, I think that's a cop-out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think worrying about what people are gonna do with funds or resources once you provide it to them is a cop-out. Like, I'm not saying it may not necessarily be false. He's probably right to some degree. People will do what they do. If we talking about reparations, you can extend that to reparations, right? Why fight for reparations and all people are gonna do is waste it on Gucci bags or whatever? I don't subscribe. I don't necessarily feel a lot of us would do that, but that's the talking point, especially on right-wing media. Like, it's like, well, go ahead, we'll give it to you guys. All you're gonna do is just go out there and go to Walmart and get a 75-inch TV. Like, oh, stop it. We're all not going to do that. Some of us will waste our money. That's what some of us do. We have a right to do that. If you want to help out, help people. If you want to do that, help them, but also provide, I hate to say like a financial advisor or whatever, but just give people the resources to learn better. And then also give it to them. Don't just say, I'm not giving it to them because what they're going to do with it? Go to the liquor store? Like, come on, dude. God, this, whatever. I don't know. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Let me just say this. If you are someone who's in a position to help, if you're the masterpiece, the Oprahs, the whatever, pay people's rent for a good 2 or 3 years so they can gather up wealth, right? And the hope would be that they're not going to then take whatever paychecks they get or whatever, resources they have coming in. The hope would be they're not going to take that and then waste it. The hope would be that they do what they're going to do and end up having an impact. So Trey, I know you just came back. If you missed any of what I just said, I was saying
I heard
what these people should do.
Idea what you said. I got the general idea what you were saying.
I mean, why not? Why not just pay a couple of years of rent and let people build up money so then they can then get out and own, especially if you're in the projects. I grew up in the projects, so I know that.
I think I kind of like got disconnected on the whole cop out thing, and I do agree it is a cop out 1,000%. I think that it is a cop out by what Jay-Z said, absolutely. But I think that but I think that it goes back to the whole affirmative action thing, and people don't really understand what affirmative action was about. Affirmative action was about getting black people in places of power to where they can control Negroes. People don't want to talk about that, but yeah, that's essentially what affirmative action was. And again, how can I say this? Who's another guy like besides Jay-Z? Because I don't just want to beat up on my man Hov. I like Jeezy. Okay, let's go with Jeezy because the first popped into my head. And Ross. These are two of my favorite rappers. Jeezy and Ross. Now, these are two black dudes that got some serious bread. Now, what they can do is they can most definitely give back to their community and do for their community without feeling that their money is going to be wasted. Because the simple fact of the matter is that if we're talking black unity, that's what you're supposed to do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be, well, the money may get wasted or whatever. No, and that goes for any of them. It's not about the money being wasted. It's the simple fact of the matter is that you need to give back to your community. You've made it. Don't have the mindset of, well, I got mine, y'all got to figure out how to get yours. No, you need to be giving back to your community in general. And also at the same time, bringing people along to educate them in matters of such, like a Claude Anderson or a Boyce or an Yvette or a Tone, getting people on board and bringing them along to educate. Because I understand the concept of you don't want to handicap people, but you can't just leave people out of, what I'm saying, in the dark on certain things. Because I'm from Detroit. I can look at Detroit right now. We can see what's going on up there in Detroit, Chicago. We look at all these major cities across the world. I mean, not across the world, in the United States. Put people in places to where they actually can educate. Because once we change, I know we need to change the mindset, because a mindset is a lot. You understand what I'm saying? If your mindset is not to, is I'm gonna get money and I'm gonna fuck it off and try to flip it, then that's sad in itself. But you still need to break bread. Now, I did hear your part about the reparations thing. We do still need to get reparations, because some of us have the mindset of what we're gonna do when we get this bread. I'm pretty sure me and you on the same mindset of we got this reparations of what we would do. 1,000%. Like, come on, man. You already there on that. So that's why I say it's not an excuse for what Jay-Z said or what anybody else has to say, but it still has to be done no matter what, because some people are gonna screw it off. We just gotta take that chance. You understand what I'm saying? We have to, but a certain amount of us are on the same page about what we need. That was right here.
Yeah, when you talk about the racial wealth gap, though, like, yeah, in order to change that, you have to have generational wealth. So the only way to actually, gain that, to accrue that, is to have an influx of money, right? You have to get something coming in. So if something's not coming in, then what are you going to do? Like, just do what you can. That's my point. If you're an entertainer, it's not your job really to help your people. It is your job. So let me take that back. It is your job. You should help us, because in all cases, we're helping you, right? We lift up LeBron We go to bat for people. You got black people arguing like they know LeBron. Like, don't talk bad about LeBron. Like, what? Anyway, some of us really need some help, but it's not as such their job to kind of undergird. I don't know if I'm using the right word there, but it's not their job to give us a foundation in terms of finances, right? Like, if you're making $50 million, it's not your job to say, all right, 5 million I'm giving to the hood. You should want to do that because you should want to help your people, but it's not your job to make sure that we are living the way that we could be living. Right? That's my point. Like, I know what you're saying, but I'm also saying I don't want people feeling like, they have to, support us. Like, come on, give us a chance, though. Give people a chance who have not had a chance, and then let's see how we can work this out. Like, that's my thing. Just give people a chance. Whether or not people agree with that, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I've seen far too many blue checks on Twitter. Far too many blue checks are out here acting like they're better than us and talking condescending. And I'm sure you've seen some of that, like acting like there's somebody who is above where we came from. Now, y'all came from where we came from too.
Facts. Thank you. Let me tell you something that I have yet to honestly see. Is outside of maybe one person on Black YouTube per se actually say something that we should consider as Black people. Now, I do this. People don't have to do this, but I'm gonna say because I actually do it now. I was looking at my pocket a few minutes ago for this right here. Now I may not show quote unquote in the screen well. I'll put it up to the. It's fine even if it don't. But this is a 1 ounce silver coin. Now, this right here is a great way to actually gain generational wealth or store wealth. Why? Because the standard of money always has been and always will be silver and gold. I don't care what area you're in. I don't care what time period you're in. Precious metals will always be something of value, period. So with that being said, that's a way that we can build generational wealth. I have, a couple pieces of silver at my disposal. Another way that we could build generational wealth is, of course, by closing the racial wealth gap, reparations, pushing for policies. But another way, and this is just me talking. This ain't Jared. This is just me. Invest in the stock market. I don't see a lot of Black people talk about investing in the stock market. I don't see that. I see far few of them that's in our space talking about investing into the stock market. That's one thing you could do. You can invest into cryptocurrencies. A lot of this stuff may sound a little far-fetched, but if you're going to be in this American society and deal with this American culture, you're going to have to get with what's going on here in this American society. So these are different ways that we can build generational wealth outside of what we and him are talking about. This is to other people who just because somebody may actually comment that, well, what about investing to the stock market, guys? What about that? I have a stock portfolio. I invest into precious metals. That's what I do. This is how I store and build generational wealth for my family. So I wanted to point that out for somebody who may say that in the video, whatever the case is, because that's a fact. It's something that we actually can do.
I think though you do have to have disposable income, right? Like you can't be living paycheck to paycheck and get like a stock portfolio. I just don't think that's
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't ever, please, my people, don't ever put your rent money into the stock market. Somebody may do that. Put their mortgage, their car note into the stock market. The stock market and stuff like this is disposable income. Something that is when your rent is paid, car note is paid, car insurance paid, then your refrigerator is full. That's when you dive into this type of stuff right here, because these are things that you could build generational wealth off of. It is because, and this goes to my argument what I was telling you about. We need to be multiple complex with this whole liberation thing, because we need to push for policies. Yeah, we need to practice Greek economics, but you know what I'm saying. I have a coin in here that this is. I have a silver panda. Now I bought it for, I want to say, how much I bought this thing. I think I bought it for $35. I could take this to the coin shop right now and get $60 for it. And the more, and it's the more and more I keep it, the value of it grows over time. So in the next 5 years, it could be worth 120, depending on how good I keep it, or how the quality of it is. Quality is always going to be good. So this is another way right here we can, but people don't talk or think like that per se. A silver certificate here. This is one of the last ones from the 60s. I could take this to a place right now and get like $50 for one of these. Come on, man. Like, and it's $1. Like, we don't think like that as a people. We think we just need to go to work and have a 401k and go home. No, there's multiple different things you can do to have money, but don't screw your rent off money. Please don't. I ain't telling no. Don't. Make sure your bills is paid before you start getting into stuff like this.
Yeah, you can't assume that our people sometimes, they just take stuff and run with it. So you do have to say that. I actually want to tie that into the whole stimulus, the $2,000 argument with McConnell, and we all knew he was going to block it. So that's not a surprise. I think what some people might have been surprised about is the fact that Kamala Harris voted with McConnell. So where was the black girl magic at? I guess.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, Kamala. She's one of
black people voting shining hope.
All of the Democrats except 6 Senate Democrats voted with McConnell. So all of that talk about the Democrats are different from the Republicans, they are both the same. And Kamala's the head one up there. She with them too. She riding with McConnell. So she did all that for y'all. She danced. She got up and doing all of the stepping with black folks. And there you go. That's your girl though. That's y'all girl. That ain't mine. Wow. I don't want nothing to do with Kamala.
I did not know that, and I'm glad I know that now. So I can tell that to some people that is so-called Democratish. I can let them know that, hey, listen, your knight in shining armor, she don't want to give you that $2,000. She said the same thing that Mitch McConnell said. Y'all Negroes is on your own. But hey, but my idea on the whole stimulus thing is this here, man. Let me get my whatchamacallit, my silver certificate back right quick. Now, let's be real here about America, because this is why I say if you're going to be in America, you have to play the game of America. America is literally deciding over how they want to print up thin air money. Why do I say they print up thin air money? Because the Federal Reserve is not a government, it's not a United States government agency. It's its own entity that operates on American soil. Now, the Federal Reserve creates something called Federal Reserve notes. You pull out a dollar bill. I wish I had me a dollar bill with me. I should have had it. But nonetheless, you pull out a dollar bill. It says Federal Reserve notes. These Federal Reserve notes are thin air money, just like that. It's not backed by anything. The U.S. is no longer backed by silver and gold. It's literally backed off of trust, essentially. So when these dudes printing up this stimulus, they're literally printing up money out of thin air. The only issue is that your taxes is what pays for that. So again, and your taxes is all thin there because it's all computer and digitalized. Which, so realistically speaking, it's worth nothing. So again, they're literally deciding on how much money they're going to print up, and it's thin air money. Like he said, they debating over $2,000. What? Like the fact that they even have a conversation over $2,000 to me is ludicrous, because, like I said, the chairman of the CEO, Jerome Powell, is said they literally create money out of thin air. This is what they do. They literally just go into a little computer room, type up what they want, and the machine prints paper. So that puts a whole new spin on legislation and stuff like that. What are they talking about then? Because if they're literally just typing up money, then this might really get my feed cut off talking like that. But what are they really doing then? You understand what I'm saying? So, and the fact is but that's why I say if you're going to be in America, you need to learn how to play the game of America. You need to be diverse in this thing, because this, like I said, this silver certificate is one of the last one from the 60s, from the 60s. And it's worth some serious bread. I'm learning how to play the game. You need to invest into multiple different things in this American society. And there's no question that they should be giving us more than $2,000. This shouldn't even be a question of the matter. I think that some of these other countries get monthly stimulus.
Canada, yeah. But hold
Canada.
up though. Hold on though. See, they gave us 1,200 in what was that? This whole pandemic started back in March. The
They give
first
it in
stimulus was 1,200.
Yeah,
The
in
first
April.
stimulus is 1,200. Now you're giving us 600. So you're giving us a total of 1,800, and other countries are getting 2,000 per month. And people are just taking it. Like Americans are just taking it. Like, all right.
It puts a new spin on America being a great country. Is it?
Yeah.
Is America a great country then? Because this is supposed to be the richest country in the world, the land of the free, the home of the brave, the land of second chances. But they're giving their citizens $1,200. They're giving their citizens $600. They're considering giving their citizens $2,000. But all these so-called poor countries or less fortunate countries are giving their different citizens monthly stimulus. What does that really say about America and how it feels not only towards black people? What does that say? What does it say about this? What does it say about the rest of everybody else? If that's the case, because we all know they don't give a shit about. We know they don't give a shit about black people, and I've
Mhm.
been actually seeing this on some of these different YouTube threads and stuff like that. People are actually saying America ain't shit. America don't care about it. I've literally seen that, and I'm like, yo, this is the everyday thing for black people. But yeah, man, these people are literally just. This goes to who controls all of this stuff, and I don't want to get into that because this video may get shut down if I get into
Yeah.
controls everything. But in essence, the whole conversation of all of this stuff is literally it's paper money, it's digital money, and that's really all there is to it. It's trust, it's faith. You know, the only reason why it's actually usable is because we deem it usable. Come on, like
Yeah, but I mean,
this
it
money is
just
no better than monopoly money.
yeah, essentially. But I mean, it's crazy because you have people who will fight you over your ideology saying, oh, the Republicans are evil, the Democrats are evil. Y'all are all fighting over two groups that don't give a damn about none of you. So I'm just looking at
Oh,
people commenting like, y'all are so lost, man. Y'all don't get it. Y'all
America,
really don't get it.
America is a great propaganda machine. It really, America really is. I have to salute America essentially in the lie that it has portrayed. Listen, I gotta salute to them because when you think about it, again, this goes back to the paper money thing, and you know what I'm saying, as far as budgets and stuff goes, and who gets what in America, whatever the case is. If we literally can print thin air money, what's the issue with giving reparations to black people? Because the whole thing people say, well, it's coming out of my tax dollars, so I can't do it, guys. Fool. If America's printing thin air money, then it's not really coming out of your tax dollars. It's just coming out of it, just printing it up. So nothing's gonna come out of your tax. It's all a game essentially. Is basically what I'm saying. And the Democrats and Republicans work together. We can see that clearly. I didn't even know Kamala Harris was even not for the 2000s. So clearly they're working. Oh man, the simple fact they even have to have a conversation in itself should tell you they work together on a lot of this stuff. Me and you pretty much, I'm pretty sure, agree that they're both two wings of the same bird. There's a left and then there's a right. So who really, come on, man. Like these people, and the simple fact also, I looked up Mitch McConnell's net worth this morning. This old geezer make $55 million a year. Now, how does this fool who is supposed to be a so-called public servant make all that money? But me and you don't even make ain't even scratching 50K. Like that should tell you how backwards America is in itself.
Man, I did a video talking about all of Congress because they are all holding, all of them. And if you look at Mitch McConnell's wife,
Oh,
she is holding. Like, I
holding.
mean,
This little Asian wife, she holding. She ain't both loaded. Come on, man. Like, but that puts a new spin on the people in power again. I'm treading this softly, but that puts a new spin on the how America really is. The fact that these people have all access to all of this capital, but meanwhile, the citizens, the people that are, because like I said before, and all of this comes so-called from tax dollars per se. That's what they say. So if
mhm.
we, the taxpayer, are the ones that essentially give this country its money, then what are we fighting for then? Why are we having negotiations on whether to give Americans money? It makes no sense, or whatever the case is. So Mr. McConnell shouldn't even be making 55 million a year. Realistically speaking, that money should be good, because who cares he's been in Congress all this time? All that should be going towards the people, because we are just, he's a public servant. That's all he is. That's all these people are. They're public servants. They're not anything else but that. So a servant is meant to serve, not to be the person that gains everything and we try to figure it out. That's pretty much how this thing is. Think about, the president gets his salary for the rest of his life, but his time as a public servant is over with. So these are, I'm going into so many different avenues with this or whatever. But bottom line is, these people are literally debating over thin air money. I want people to understand that. That's what I want to let people know, that this whole thing is a game of charade that these people are playing. It's period.
You're right. I just want to add in that McConnell had the audacity to say that he thought bumping it up to 2,000 was essentially socialism for the rich. That was his words. It's socialism for the rich, because apparently the Democrats, well, it's okay for him. But the Democrats apparently increased like the salary that you make, and you'd be able to qualify for the 2,000. So in his like hypothetical example, somebody's making 250,000, you're a family of 5, you shouldn't be given a $2,000 stimulus if your income wasn't affected.
That's the most bogus thing ever. Let me tell you why that is. Because if I make $250,000 a year and I get $2,000, that's not even a fraction of what I make in a year, first of all. So that in itself is what I mean. I'm just saying that just to say that, but what he said don't even make any sense. Like, come on, bro. Like you like I said, I don't mean to pocket watch, but dude, you make 55 million a year. Come on, bro. Let's be real here. You're gonna be good no matter what. A struggling family of 4 or 5 that ain't got nothing, and you being petty about, well, guys, I don't want to, I don't want the Democrats to have the power. Come on, bro. Let's be real here, dude. Like, you good. That's what it really not. But one thing, and I meant to say this too. One thing I have loved about Trump administration, and I'm gonna miss it, I hope it stays, is these politicians saying how they really feel. I'm going, that is the best thing that, oh my God. Trump has been the best thing for America. He is not the best. I'm not saying I'm just saying he's been the best thing for America and Black American children, because he's letting people know how these politicians really feel out here. He really letting you know how these people feel. He's opened the door for honesty. I think before Trump, no politician had ever been honest before. They all have been liars. They all have been running a game of charades. He came and changed the game on them. Said, I don't like you. You go build that wall, Hector. You understand? Your shithole country. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been honest. And now other politicians are following suit, because Trump then blew the whole game up, essentially, and let everybody know this thing is a game, a charade, essentially. It's not me endorsing Trump, but it's probably the best thing that I've seen, is he's changed the game. Everybody, because even Joe Biden is even being honest. He's never been this vocal about stuff in his entire career as a politician. But now he's saying Black people got to get used to working with Hispanics. He would have never said that in under Obama's administration. Never. He would have never said anything like that. But now that it's 2021 now, now he's saying you guys got to work with his.
But hold on, though. You're right. Biden would have never said that. You're right. He would have never said it under Obama, but he would have never had to, because Obama would have said it. Obama would have had no problem making that same exact statement. None. Obama was chastising.
I don't know about that one. I think Obama was a prime example of the propaganda machine. I think Obama was their do boy. He was their black knight in shining armor for you know what? You're probably right. He probably would have said it, but he wouldn't have said it that way. Obama is I got to give it to him. He's a real good orator. He's a real good speaker. So whoever, and plus people write his speeches, I'm sure that someone would have worded that a whole lot better. He probably would have said that. But that blatant way Joe Biden said it in that interview, you guys are going to have to get used to working with Hispanics. Like he said it like, you niggers are going to have to get used. He said it like a slave owner. Obama would have never said it like that. He would have said it so proudly to make every black person want to go out and get tacos, something like that. The next day, like he would have said it so. He would have said it so on point. But you're right about that. Obama probably would have.
No, I think we're both right. You're right. He would have said it differently. I think Biden has his own way of saying stuff, and Biden has been saying stuff like this, and somehow people just ignore it. Especially black people ignore all his gaffes and just chalk it up to that. Oh, he just made a mistake. He didn't mean that. No, he meant it. Corey said, Corey, you know better. You remember that with that whole thing that happened with him when Corey was like, oh, he needs to apologize. Joe Biden needs to apologize for his association with segregationists, with Strom Thurmond and so on. And Biden was like, Corey should apologize. Corey knows better. Nobody can duplicate that. So Obama, you're right. Obama would have said something like, you guys are going to have this coalition. You guys are going to have to work together. Yeah, Biden doesn't have that. Biden's like, look, I'm about 80 now. I'm not doing it no more. I'm saying exactly what I want to say. So this should be an interesting 4 years, bro.
Yeah, Trump created that environment because I think that Trump opened the doors and pulled the curtain back on how America really is. He pulled back that scab because America's foundation is on racism, whether people want to admit to that or not. America's foundation is on rape, pillage, murder, lies, racism, period. So America transitioned when it so-called emancipated the slaves. It transitioned from not only a racist society, but to a greedy one as well. So now you have a society that is racist and capitalist at the same time. So, and for years, it just had this propaganda machine that allowed us to promote America being this great country, like America going over to stop Hitler in the, I think it was World War II, or America going to these different countries, giving them democracy, and you know what I'm saying, the whole world on terrorism. I was being my mouth was I wouldn't be able to say what I need to say, but nonetheless, yeah, America has been a good propaganda machine for all of these years. It's pulled back the layer on all of that. He has, and you can't go back from that because now people see what America's about.
I see where you're coming. I think that Biden is going to dial it back a bit. I do think, I know it's hard to believe based on what he said so far, especially his meeting with the whole civil rights leaders, though, the whole leaders of the organization with Mark Morial and Al Sharpton. Yeah, he seemed like he's out of pocket now. He does seem like it, but I don't know. I think he's going to tone it down a little bit, I think.
We don't know what these fools got planned. So all of this is just speculate. We don't know what these people got planned. We don't. We can speculate, we can guess, but these people are going to do what these people have plans in place. They have 1-year plans. They have 5-year plans. They have 20-year plans. We can't even fathom that, but you could be right. He could dial it back because he could. It's a possibility he may dial it back. I'm not going to say and say he won't. He probably could.
Well, I'm saying he'll dial back the rhetoric. I'm saying he's not going to be he's not going to be calling shithole countries. We know what he's going to carry out as far as his agenda. We know it's going to be anti-black.
Yeah, you're right.
We know that him and Kamala are going to have an open borders policy. They've already said that. We know they're going to be having a bunch of immigrants come in here. Yeah, it is. It is.
Sad. That's sad. I'm glad you even brought that up. I know this video long, but we having a good conversation. Listen, dude, the simple fact they finna even legalize all these people is sad. That lets you know what America's about. America has all these homegrown issues: poverty like hell, crime like hell, black. All the America is shown its true colors per se. The fact that you would even legalize all these people and you haven't even fixed your own homegrown problems.
It's crazy to me. In the debate, they're talking about fast tracking a path to citizenship. Okay, Let's fast track it. And on what planet do you allow someone to adopt a child and they can't afford the 2 or 3 kids they got living with them? You're gonna send them through the system and say, yeah, you adopt these 2 more kids, but you can't afford the 2 you got.
On the surface, that is what it is. But see, this goes to why a person like me probably being on here is a benefit, because in white society, they have, how can I say this? They have different, how can I say this and not be too crazy all over the place?
Oh man, say what you want to say. I don't care.
I got you. Okay, cool. You have the white Latino. I got you. You have the white Latino. You have the white Asian. You have the white Arab. White supremacist society allows for these so-called different tether groups per se to have the identity as white. So it's a buffer class essentially. So if you're able to bring over more, I guess you could say, semi-white to a certain degree people, they're able, and they're already gonna have the same mindset as you can see as the other. So it's a buffer class essentially, because, and that goes to what Joe Biden said, you're gonna have to get used to working with Hispanics. I don't know why he said the word Hispanic. Hispanic is not a, it's a culture. It's not a, but it was stupid in itself. But nonetheless, yeah, that's basically what it's gonna come down to. So because white people are dying off, so they're gonna synonymously rule through an apartheid state, the similar they do in South Africa, to where the majority is a people of color society, or a quote unquote black and brown society, but the white and the brown dominate the black, because there's a hierarchy that racist white society created. White at the top, but black on the bottom. And everybody's okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Asians are okay with being number 2 as long as they're not at the bottom. The Arab is okay with that. They don't care about being labeled a terrorist or whatever the case is, as long as they get to dominate white people. Mexicans, they're close to the bottom, but they don't care. They're not all the way at the bottom. So that's pretty much what it comes down to. That's the reason why they don't mind bringing all these other immigrant groups over. It's just a buffer class, essentially.
Yeah, they don't mind, but my big issue is we are the ones who put Biden in there. His campaign was dead in the water until South Carolina. We revived his whole campaign. So what in the hell incentive did any black people have?
Yeah, this pretty much was black people's, and it's sad because the election is over with now, but this was black people's to actually, and I hate I'm even saying this, and I know I'm gonna get some flack for saying this. This is probably black people's last chance to actually have, or last opportunity to use their voice properly in an election, because of all of these policies that Joe Biden is going to go through as far as immigration goes and bringing them over here, whatever the case is. We're already 13% of the population. I believe it's more of us, but we're going to go off their numbers. We're 13% of the population. With us 13% of the population, that number is going to dwindle now, because now you have more immigrants over here whose numbers are going to grow, which means they're going to vote in favor of who got them the citizenship. So, you know what I'm saying? This is why we got to be on code with one another, and why I'm bringing this back full circle to what me you've been talking about in the beginning of this video. This is why we got to be on code with one another and be willing to put together the little petty differences, because this is what's going to go down, and we're not ready. We're going to be moved out of the social status, or where our social relevance is going to be moved to the side with all of these different immigrant groups coming to America, essentially. They're not going to need us anymore. Before, the black vote was very, very powerful. Now, because then on top of that, we already know where they're going to put these people. They're going to put them right in the hood with us. They're going to put them in our area. So where do you think they're going to be voting? They're going to be voting where you vote. We don't think like that. But that's how we have to think. We got to be on code with one another, which is why I always say we all we got. We could put the little differences to the side and understand that we all we got out here.
Yeah, but Malcolm talked about back in the 60s, man. He was talking about how we have the power to put Kennedy in office or send him elsewhere. Like, he was saying how powerful the black vote was. And I think back then we probably understood more then than we do now. Like, I don't understand how leading up to this, some of us, I don't know how long you've had your channel for, but I know damn sure my channel, I was telling people, look, y'all have to be looking out for yourselves, because the Democrats ain't looking out for you. The Republicans ain't looking out for you.
I've had my
so figure something out.
Yeah, I've had my channel for probably like 3 months at the most,
Okay.
maybe. And I've been saying that. I've been saying that since before I even had a channel. That was my whole. That was I was saying it on Twitter, Instagram. I've been saying it to people that I know outside of at my job. People I see on the street. I talk to black people, and I actually asked almost every black person that I came in contact with. Not everyone, of course, but maybe every 5 out of 10 I would ask, "Hey, who you voting for? Why are you voting for him? What's gonna change by you voting for this person that has already not been the same?" Like, I've been asking that, and I would get a lot of mixed answers. Some people said I'm voting for Joe Biden because, excuse me, I don't like Trump. Some people said I'm voting for Joe Biden because his policies is the only way to go. Some people say, like one person, they said he was gonna vote for Trump, and he said because I don't like Joe Biden no more than I like Trump. I think that Joe Biden is terrible, and he said just because I believe in voting, I'll vote for Trump over Joe Biden, and it goes to what you just said about Martin as far as what he said. We were more politically astute, and even together back then, and even do a Montgomery bus boycott. You know the type of unity them people had to have, bruh. We don't have that unity at all today. You can't get Negroes to stop shopping for a day, yet alone a year. People forget how long that boycott was. That didn't last a few weeks. These people were willing to walk, carpool, do whatever besides ride the bus. We don't have that nowadays. We don't have that. Why? Because we have become too comfortable with where we are at our society. We got ourselves a little laptop. We got ourselves a little Mercedes Benz. We got a nice little 4 bedroom home, a dog, and a fence. You understand what I'm saying? And we think we'd have made it now. We think we the Jetsons. But the sad thing about it is you can still a white person, Amber Geiger, can run in your house and shoot you and essentially get off. That's no different than back then. The only difference is you just have more access to things now. So yeah, that part.
You're right.
Yeah, people forget about that whole Amber Geiger thing. She ran up in that dude's house.
Yeah, I mean, the other part of that though is even after doing that, she gets a hug from his brother. I just I yeah, we can't, man. That's a whole nother video. I'm gonna start breaking desks. I'm gonna break my chair. I don't want to talk about the Amber Geiger. I can't do it. I just
It's all good.
we're a
It's all
joke,
this
man.
video is long, so
We
I
are
ain't
a
even
joke.
mad at you. Like I said before, it's so much stuff we could talk about, but we could be going for forever because this is the type of stuff that need to be talked about.
Hold up. Yeah. Real quick before we do start wrapping this up. Did you hear about that story of
Go ahead.
that dude who was like playing a goddamn trumpet or something? He was playing like "We Shall Overcome" with some instrument after like
No,
he
I don't
was
know what you're talking
profiled.
about.
Did you? Oh damn! I don't even think I
I
can
don't know
pull
what you're
that up.
talking
But
about.
this dude, Al Sharpton, was with some dude who he was profiled in. I think it was New York. I think a hotel where some white lady had, I don't know if her phone was stolen or she left it in a cab or something, whatever. She accused some little black teenager of stealing her phone because he had an iPhone and it was her iPhone that was missing. It just so happens that teenager's dad was some well-known jazz player, right? So after all of this thing happened, this dude is playing a goddamn trumpet. I'm not sure of the instruments, so don't hold me to the instrument, but he was playing "We Shall Overcome" with Al Sharpton at some sort of like makeshift conference. And I'm like, what are y'all, yo? Oh, I'm so tired of that, man. Like, I'm just tired of the old way of thinking and the people doing the same stuff over and over. I'm disgusted. Disgusted. Matter of fact, yeah. What's your thoughts on that? Well, I'm gonna try to pull up something on that real quick. But what do you think about the people twerking and all of that while we're supposed to be fighting for justice?
I got you. I think I heard what you said about the trumpet thing. So I'm gonna tie this in with what I heard you say about the twerking thing. So I think the black people need to stop being spectacles for white people. We need to stop that foolishness. We need to stop being looked at and seen And I didn't even hear everything you said about Al Sharpton in that Trumpet situation, but I'm sure me shaking my head should tell you everything you need to know. Black people need to stop that foolishness. You don't ever see a Mexican on the streets. You don't ever see them doing none of that stuff when one of them get killed. We the only people that want to, march and sing "We Shall Overcome" instead
Wait,
of actually
hold
doing.
up, hold up. Give me a second.
You good?
Because, like I talked about, when we pull up these damn websites, they always have these things that automatically come on. But I'm about to put it on the screen for you so you can see a real quick screenshot of this.
Go ahead.
Here you go. Look at this. Let's make this a little bigger for you. It would be on BET too.
Oh man, yeah, it would be on BET.
Yeah, you see how they calling it Soho Karen who harassed black teen in hotel lobby?
Yeah, Reverend Al Sharpton, man. I'm gonna read Reverend Al Sharpton calls NYPD to identify charged Soho Karen who harassed black teen. Okay, what's gonna happen after that?
Yeah, I mean, it just, again, all right, it says right here, he was a prominent jazz trumpeter. So the point is, if he wasn't this person, right? If he wasn't this well-known person, and I never know who he was, I never heard of this dude, but the point is, if he wasn't that, would we even be talking about this? Or would that teenager have been hemmed up by the cops when they got there, and that would have been that, if he wouldn't have been killed?
Oh, absolutely. Come on, man. This dude would have been another statistic, sadly. He would have been another statistic. We don't even, there could be, and I don't mean to say this, but there could be a brother right now that just got shot by a police officer. We'll never know about it. Sadly, it never know. It could be a sister. You understand what I'm saying? There's so many. It could be. There was a study that said that black babies are more likely to die in childbirth or on the table once they're born than any other race. So there are multiple different ways. See, when people don't even understand this whole COVID language, black people are affected disproportionately than white people. That's not saying that black people get COVID more. That just means that if there are 20 people in a room, 15 are white and 5 are black and 3 got COVID, that means that's what they're saying, that black people are disproportionately more. And that's the type of vernacular they use for us, and we fall for that foolishness or whatever the case is. So yeah, man, to bring it all back to about that brother there, man. If he was a dude with no name or not prominently known, he probably wouldn't have gotten the coverage he got, because white society picks and chooses the stories that they want to cover, and it's in their benefit to do so, and that's why it's on us to sit here and push our own narratives and stuff like that, and to push the stories that we deem fit for one another, because we have. Again, we don't need to expect them to speak on stuff that we need them to speak on. It's not their job to do so. That's our job. Again, it's called a race. It's called race for a reason. Has their own. The Chinese understand. Well, they understood it later on down the line that this is a race. The Arab understands that. The Mexican understand that. We the only people that don't understand the concept, idea of race. Our idea, concept of race is, we gotta look out for everybody. No, you look out for yourself. Come on, like, you know what I mean? But
we gonna keep drilling it until people start getting it. But they do have to. We talked about the new black media. We have to support it. Like, we have to support each other instead of just looking at Joe Rogan or looking at whomever else, man. Vlad, like, why are we doing this? Why are we supporting these clowns? I don't get that. But what do I know, right? What do I know?
Yeah, that's the same thing I say. What do I know? I'm just some dude who just trying to figure this thing out. Though what I may say may be the truth. I'm just trying to figure this out, and people can take what they want to. You're not YouTube. We're not speaking, quote unquote, for people today to catch what we're saying. Some people just not gonna do it. Sadly, this may take a year for people to even get there. You understand what I'm saying? But the simple fact that this video was done is good in itself. It's gonna get some heat. It's cool. We good on it. We like their last. We built the last out here. You understand what I'm saying? We good. We good. But, That's what it's for. Somebody gonna listen to this, and somebody gonna be like, you know what, them brothers had a good conversation right there. They had a great conversation, and I wish they gonna probably going to take this to the vet, or Tariq can be like, yo, these two dudes, one from ADOS and the other one from they was talking about this kind of stuff, and you should listen to what they had to say.
Yeah. I mean, but that's why we tackled it first anyway, though. That's why we got that out the way first for that reason anyway. So let's just let those people do what they do. They can do what they do.
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
We touched on a whole bunch of other stuff in this video that ain't even regards to that. Like I said, with the whole Federal Reserve, I made sure I put that out because I want people to really understand this thing is a game of charades that they playing with you. And you just need to learn how to move and maneuver in this. It's literally a Monopoly game. It really is. You just need to learn how to move on the board. You need to be getting income from everywhere because you can't just rely on them for your bread and butter. No, you got to get it. You got to hustle. There's nothing wrong with hustling. There's nothing at all wrong with that.
Nothing. But we're gonna make sure we do this again.
Absolutely.
We got to figure out. I'm gonna try to see what I could do with the technical aspect of this.
I think that might be me per se because I'm in my closet and it may be a lot in here with the whole internet thing. It may be me, but we're gonna figure it out.
It don't even matter who it is. We just gonna get it straight for the next one. This way, when we talk about some more important stuff, everybody's on the same page and listening to us and whatever. It's top quality because we are the new black media, so we got to make sure we are providing the best of the best. So we gonna do that. We gonna work on that. Me and Trey, we gonna work on getting that together.
Absolutely.
But tell people where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yo, you can find me on Twitter at TrayDaCreator. You can. Find me. Feel free to hit me up at TrayDaCreatorBeats@gmail.com. That's TrayDaCreator, TrayDaCreator beats@gmail.com. If you need beats, yeah, man. If you want to holler at me, you know what I'm saying. That's how you holler at me right there. That's pretty much what it is.
I'm gonna put all of that. Oh, you shit. But we both will probably put this on our channel. So I'm gonna make sure on my end I put all of that in the description. So I put a link to his page, and we're gonna do what it do.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's wrap this up. We appreciate y'all for listening and watching us.
Yes. Those that stay tuned and watch the whole thing, we appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? We will appreciate that.
All right, so let me wrap that.